And welcome to Around the Ozark Spotlight. Each week, we uncover the stories behind the people who live and work here in Southwest Missouri. Those individuals with entrepreneurial spirit, those who work to develop the lives of others, or even put pen to paper to write books about the stories and history of the Ozarks and its people. I'm Scott Meier. Today, we're going to explore the world of, and now these are his words or his company's words, expedition vehicles. And we're talking with the CEO and founder of 27 North, Pavel Bosovik. Hello, Pavel. How are you?
Oh, I'm better than I deserve. Thank you, Scott. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. And I want to thank you on short notice for being able to come on, especially this time of the year. But, Pavel, your story is, I think, pretty exciting. And the fact that you look like you're about 25 years old doesn't hurt. Uh, but anytime we have what is considered to be a new business here in the Ozarks and certainly in Springfield, and one that employs a number of people, I think it's time that the area gets to know a little bit about who Pavel Bosovik is. So why don't you tell us about that? Are you a native of Springfield or the Ozark area?
Oh, I appreciate the warm welcoming. Ozarks is by far I think, the number one place in the world, and I'm sure there's a handful of magazines out there that'll back me up. I'm not
Sure.
a native of Springfield. I'm originally from Ukraine, Chernivtsi, Ukraine. My family and I immigrated here in the late '90s, and then in the fifth grade, we immigrated to Portland, Oregon, and then in the fifth grade, my dad had a really good friend here in the Ozarks who told him
Hmm.
that the Ozarks is the promised land, and so here we are.
The
Here we
promised
are.
land.
I've been here. Yeah, I've been here fifth
Really?
grade, Hickory Hills, Glendale, University of Missouri, Mizzou for college. And
Sure.
after college, I went into construction, and I just really enjoyed building houses here in the Ozarks. I was working for a wonderful gentleman, Ryan Cantrell Trensor Homes, another wonderful Ozark company. And
Hmm.
I just noticed a big demand for RVs, quality built RVs. There wasn't really anyone around that built really high quality RVs that are self sustainable, hence where the word expedition trucks or vehicles comes from. And
Hmm.
ever since we posted our first one online, it just took off. I think the market and people were just really tired of cardboard box style um, construction and really wanted something unique and different, and we provided that.
Well, Pavel, now you said you moved here when you were in fifth grade. How old are you now?
I'm 27 years young.
Really? So I was close. I was close with the
Yes, sir.
25. Yeah, you
Yeah,
look very
you're
young.
right there.
For someone your age to start a business like this, that's quite an undertaking. Are you single, married?
Thank you, Scott. I am happily married. I think it's because I just saved recently. If I let my facial hair grow out like yours, I could pull off 30.
Well, you get to be an old guy. You do this sort of thing because you hate to shave every day. It's like mowing your lawn. You don't like doing that either. So, all
Yeah,
right. So you're
yeah,
married, and
yeah.
did you meet her here in town, or did you meet her at college, or where'd you
Oh,
run
definitely.
into her?
Yeah, Ozarks. Ozarks is where I met her.
Okay.
Wonderful young lady from Ukraine as well. She immigrated in 2006, so sometime after my family did. But yeah, been an amazing journey. We started the business together. We finished college together, so that was
Hmm.
exciting.
Well, that is exciting, and of course, having Ukraine as your background, obviously your immigration came at the right time. Assuming you still have family back in the Ukraine today.
Yes, we do still have friends, family, and aunt and some cousins back there.
Okay, everybody okay?
Yes, thus far, thankfully, everyone's either relocated to the western part or got refugee status here to the wonderful United States and have been safe.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right, so let's get back to this. So you like building now. 27 North, is that part of a franchise? Is that your company? Is that a company that you're looking to franchise? Tell us a little bit about where the name comes from.
Yes. So 27 North came from my passion for the outdoors, not just Ozarks, but around the world. And our original name was Everest Conversions, like Mount Everest. Wanted to
Hmm.
be the pinnacle of adventure, the top, the best of the best. And, Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in the world. And then the business really took off. And in 2022, we wanted to rebrand to something more catchy. And one of
Hmm.
our engineers was like, well, what about 27.783561? We're like, well, what is that? He's like, "Oh, that's the latitude for Mount Everest." We're like, "No, a name can't be that long."
That
I'm
big.
like, "Wait,
Yeah,
what if we drop the point all the other and just do 27 North?" And we
sure.
launched 27 North, and it just took off, and it's been really, really successful for us. I am 100% owner. We do not have plans of franchising. However, we
Mhm.
are opening dealership locations throughout the United States and around the world as we speak.
I got to take one step back because it took me a minute to remember his name, but there's a doctor from the Ukraine who saved my life back in 2009. And I just got to throw him a shout out, even though he lives in Saginaw, Michigan, not here in the Ozarks. Nikolai Konukchuk. And I don't know if the
Um,
Konukchuks are like Smith in the Ukraine or not, but
yes.
Dr. Konukchuk did me a huge one back. I had
Wow.
colon cancer back in 2009, and he called it out, and I will take it to my grave that he saved my life. So I'm a big fan of Ukrainians, and God bless you guys. I'm glad
Wow, that's amazing.
you,
Thank you
you
so
figured out ways to come
much.
to our country because it's and make it
Thank you
yours
so
because
much.
that's a good thing.
Yes, thank
So,
you so much.
all right. So the name 27. So it has nothing to do with the fact you're 27. It has everything to do with the latitude. But these
Yeah.
vehicles, there's a number of people that enjoy recreation vehicles, but this looks like a recreation vehicles on steroids. Is that fair?
That's pretty close. Yeah, if you've seen some of the pictures or if you go on our
Hmm.
website, it is definitely extravagant and an eye catcher. And that's not just for aesthetics. It just gives it that extra level of just being extreme off-road, being able to hold the extreme climates, just necessary features that we had to add to give it that ruggedness.
Who take a step back for a minute and give us an idea of who some of your competitors are? I mean, is that a fair question, or are you in a
Yeah, I
field
don't
right
think
now
we
so
really.
narrow you don't have them?
Yeah, we're very niche right now, so we don't really
Hmm.
have a whole lot of competition. There's a couple of companies like ST and ER that do something similar, but we're like one of the CEOs of the second biggest RV manufacturer in the world said we're like 10 years ahead of the industry with a lot of the technology and build construction that we use. And so we're definitely in the forefront of our market and industry.
Really, my guest today on Around the Ozark Spotlight is Pavel Bosovik, and Pavel is a longtime resident, as long as a 27-year-old could be a longtime resident of our area. But I think you sound like you consider yourself an Ozarkian, and I can appreciate that. It is a beautiful area. How much
Oh,
does it
most
remind
definitely.
you? How much does it remind you of home, or does it
A
not?
lot. Not so much the three-lane highway and traffic, headed to Branson anymore, but just the scenery and the people. It really reminds me of home. I think more so the people are a lot more welcoming and opening. I have business relations and locations in big cities, Dallas and Denver, and it's almost like you're going into a different country. Just how much the people change from here in the Ozarks to other cities.
Now I can't help but when I did a little research and explored your website, it appears are these other many of the folks other family members or Ukrainians that you knew? There's a number of people that have a similar Karina Rotkov.
Yes,
Your
so
family.
we do employ a lot of Ukrainians
Uh
here at
huh.
27 North. I think we have 13 now of our almost 50 employees.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Is this kind of a hotbed area for relocation for Ukrainians?
Not really. Other than being an AG city, I think with the amount of churches here in town, that's definitely
Hmm.
brought in a lot more folks. But right now, the hot cities for taking in refugees has definitely been probably California, the
Ah,
Sacramento area.
but so most of these folks are like yourself. They've been in the area a long time.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
then about half of them are new refugees that we assisted in coming here and employed here at 27 North.
Being a young man like you are, is your family, your mother and father, still alive?
Yes, they're alive. They're here in the Ozarks. Mother's already retired, and my goal is to help my dad retire in the next year.
Oh, that's I like that. Now, what does he do?
He was a truck driver until his health went for the worst, and then
Hmm.
I employed him here, and he's a facility manager here at 27 North now.
Is that so? He's working for his son.
Yes.
How's that going?
It was kind of awkward at first because I'm not
No,
used to talking
I
to
can't
recruiters.
imagine.
Usually they tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And so it took some time to adjust, both for him and myself.
Now, when you started the company, you were married, or you've just recently
I
gotten married?
was, yes.
Okay, so what I like to talk about with entrepreneurs are you are gainfully employed in the building industry, bringing home a
Yeah.
check every couple of weeks, right? Everything's good,
Yes,
life is
yes.
good. And at what point did you sit down at the dinner table and say, "Honey, I want to stop all that. I want to go to a whoever and raise some funds and start a company, and we're going to starve to death for a while, and off we go."
It was
Tell us
even
about that
harder.
story. How'd that go?
It was even harder than that. So we had 2 cars. We had a
Hmm.
nice single family home, our first house that we bought together. We had 4 wonderful foster children at that time. Life was going good. I was building houses,
Oh yeah.
paycheck, everything was going well. And I sat down at the dinner table, literally at the dinner table, and I'm like, I'm already putting in 7 days a week, so many hours into someone else's business. Why don't we just
Hmm.
start our own? And I think that's what kind of clicked for her. Like, I'm not gonna be working more hours, and the hours I'm gonna be working is for us, for our future, and not someone else's. And she's like, "Yeah,
Wow.
let's do it." I don't think she realized it entailed me putting the house on the market that day and selling one of the cars. So yeah, we sold our house, sold our car, and moved in with her parents and lived with her
Wow.
parents for about 9 months. They fed us and helped us a lot. And then within that first year, the business took off. So it wasn't like a decade of
Uh,
starving. It was just about 9 months of relying on her parents.
so you're really all in. I mean,
All in. I
you
mean, I knew that's the only way to really do it fast
uh-huh.
and not drag it out over, a decade.
So where did this drive come from? Tell us a little bit about that. Are you more like
Yeah,
your mother, your
so
father?
both my parents, we grew up
Hmm.
really poor, food stamps, welfare, always hand-me-down clothes, and standing in line at the Salvation Army to get your own Christmas presents because your parents don't speak English and they need someone to translate,
Hmm.
was really tough. High school, middle school is kind of tough too. I always felt like I didn't fit in, being different culture at home and a different culture at work. We still had a very traditional Ukrainian culture at home.
Hmm.
That gave me more drive, when your friends or kids kind of tease you or pick on you and say you're not going to make it. So a combination of a challenging uprising has definitely created a drive for work in me, and then the vision for success has just been the stories here in town, the Johnny Morris story, the Jack Stack story,
Hmm.
hearing these first generation success stories, the Pitt family, and I was like, why? What if they can do it? I can do it, kind of mentality. And I put everything I had into it, literally my house, my car. I went as far as having to live with my in-laws. If anyone's ever done that, they know what I'm talking about.
God bless you on
And it
that one.
was, yeah, it paid back. Our company has grown 823% now, and it's still growing.
That's fantastic. And this is year what? What year is this
This
now?
is year 3 for us.
Year three. And you just moved into some new or are moving in the process of moving into a new area?
Yes, we just are now laying asphalt and getting ready to start moving our machinery over in January. So just in a few weeks, state of
And
the
you
art
have 50
facility. Yeah,
and you have 50 employees.
yeah, just shy of 50, and then we're in the process of hiring, bringing on about 23 more employees.
Wow, that's amazing. Your vision here. We'll get into that a little bit more in the second half, but your initial vision here was probably we're going to starve to death for a little while,
Yeah.
and it took off right out of the gate. Why do you think that is?
Combination of just the market not having enough quality builders, and then a
Hmm.
combination of the pandemic. The pandemic caused a huge demand for our product and just RVs in general.
So timing.
Yeah, timing for sure.
It's all about timing sometimes. We'll be back in a moment with my guest today, Pavel Bosovik. And Pavel is telling us all about the business of expedition vehicles. And we'll talk a little bit more about that and his vision when we come back in just a moment. I'm your host, Scott Meier, and you're listening to Around the Ozarks Spotlight.
Hey, everybody, it's Ethan and Sarah Forhetz from your favorite podcast, Around the Ozarks in 5. I'm sure you've been wondering, how can I get even more amazing stories, events, and witty banter to start my day?
Well, look no further. Here we are. Sign up for our daily newsletter. You'll have what's going on around the Ozarks right at your fingertips each weekday morning.
Yeah, just go to aroundtheozarks.com, click on the newsletter tab to sign up.
Thanks for listening to Around the Ozarks in 5. We hope to see you in your inbox soon.
And welcome back to the second half of today's Around the Ozarks Spotlight. I'm your host, Scott Meier, and my special guest today is Pavel Bosovik. Pavel, I'm sorry. I'm sitting here messing this up. I shouldn't mess it up. I practiced it for like 3 days, Bosovik. You said you got teased a little bit in school. Is it because of folks not being familiar with Ukrainian your name, or was it you look like everybody else, and I would think that's a big hurdle to get past.
That. I'll have to show you I'll have to show you a childhood picture.
Is that right? Changed a little bit, have we?
So I love the Ozarks, and it's filled with wonderful people. I think it was a combination of culture and
sure.
I looked like Stewie when I was little, and I had a high
really?
voice. Voice didn't go deep until after college, and so having a high pitched voice, Stewie look, I was I don't know. I think I tried too hard too. That probably played an effect in it, and just kind of left me at the end of the line, last kid picked on the football team, kind of thing. But it made me who I am today, so I'm really grateful for the childhood.
Well, and hopefully you'll be able to pass that same sort of thing along to your children, sans the food stamps and them growing up in a tough household. So many folks have stories like that. My parents had no money, and my dad tried very hard to have a business and failed, but he tried. And gave my brother and I, instilled confidence in us in doing other things. So there's something to be said for that. There really and truly is. And it'll be interesting if we get a chance to talk after you have a family, because that'll be a challenge as well.
Yeah.
A big challenge. Trust me. There's a lot there.
It's definitely something I guess you could say looking forward to overcoming, but just one day at a time.
Oh, I hear you. All right. So we were talking about your vision, and your vision initially was obviously just to build a business and get it to the point where you're not borrowing money, but actually making money and being able to put some of that money into your family as well as back into the business. But here we are with almost 50 employees. You're looking at adding another 23, 24, 25. What's your 3-year vision look like? If we went up to 2026, where would 27 North be? What do you want to see at that point?
Yes, at that point, I want to see a location in every major country, along with a gigafactory here in the Ozarks as well, distributing around the world, being the #1 expedition vehicle manufacturer in the world.
Can you talk a little bit about what makes you so different from a standard RV? When you drive by some of the lots here in the Ozarks, you see a number of the van size RVs. Camper vans, and when you go inside, they're very nice, and obviously many have a Mercedes-Benz flag on the front. And along comes 27 North, and you do something very special. What is that difference? Can you help us paint the picture?
Most definitely. So your traditional RVs that you're referring to there, they look flashy and shiny, but just the build construction is subpar. So most of the cabinetry is built out of MDF, and then the floors, you have that linoleum from the 70s, and then you have cheap plastic plumbing fixtures. You have cheap off-brand electrical components. And if you just Google the problems, the forums go on and on, the lawsuits go on and on. And so what differentiates us is our vehicles are of the highest quality. So the newest and the fanciest battery system that there is available on the market, NASA uses it. A couple other big DOT and entities use it as well. Very reliable, state of the art. Our plumbing fixtures are all either marine or industrial grade, so they'll outlive probably all of us put together. And then our cabinetry is of the finest European all real wood construction. And so
really
good. You put that, real wood. So when you put that all together, you have a luxury yacht on wheels. You have a Gulfstream jet on wheels that you can take anywhere. And then on the exterior, whenever you look at our pictures, you'll notice it very like beefy, ruggedy looking.
Hmm.
Upgraded suspension, upgraded wheels and tires, bumper with a winch, 14 LED overlanding lights. So you could really go explore the Ozarks, explore these national parks, not have to worry about finding and reserving a campsite or getting stuck in, 2, 3 inches of snow.
Hmm. And where do you get the bodies and frames and all that stuff? What manufacturers do you look to for that?
Yeah, great question. We do mostly Mercedes and Ford. We're Ford Upfit certified, Mercedes Master Upfit certified, and so
Mhm.
we buy directly from the manufacturers. And you, as the buyer, would be the first original buyer because we buy them with a MSO certificate and then resell it to you as the original buyer. So your unit is new when delivered.
Do you have engineers that help you with all
Oh,
this?
yes, yes, we do have full-time engineers on our team, and then we outsource a lot as well.
When you say outsource, is that third party outsourcing?
Yeah,
Is
third
that?
party consultants, engineering firms,
Mhm.
because there's material engineers, there's structural engineers, there's civil engineers, and even a company 5 times our size couldn't afford to have one in every. And so we
Mhm.
rely heavily on these engineering firms that are stocked with, full staff of 50, 60, 100 engineers that specialize each one in their niche, that when they come together are able to produce something extraordinary.
Pavel, if you were to, and I don't know, maybe you are an artist, but if you were a stick figure artist like myself, and you drew a picture of of the target of the kind of consumer you're looking for, or the kind of consumer that loves your product or service, what would that person look like? What would their socioeconomic status be? What are their ages? I mean, who are they?
Yes, so that question I get asked a lot. And I just have to portray it like this. Our youngest client is a 28-year-old graduate from college,
Hmm.
and our oldest client is a 72-year-old wonderful lady out of Florida that just went to retirement a third time. So
Really?
it's all over
Okay.
the board. It's equally distributed to the board. I think the only thing they all have in common is a deep passion to travel with the ease of
Mhm.
mind of their RV not breaking down, being bulky, being oversized or hard to operate.
How large are these? Typically, what size is the platform?
Average platform is about 22 feet.
Okay, so put that in perspective of
It's like
uh,
a oversized pickup truck or a minivan, like a
okay.
long minivan.
Are they primarily built to house one or two people?
2 to 3.
Two to three. Oh,
Yeah.
really? Okay. All right. Interesting. So the third being infant, or just three
Uh,
people that want to be adventurous?
Grandchild, child, pet, friend.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you must own one.
Yes, I do. I own an Ascender. It's the big expedition truck that you've probably seen around town that we're most famously known for.
Hmm. An expedition truck. So is that a Ford? The Ford
Yes, that
body?
one's built on a Ford F-550.
Really? Okay.
Yes,
So what kind of power's under the hood on that thing?
6.7 Power Stroke, 1,000 horsepower torque.
1,000
Six.
horsepower.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's powerful. It's got ballistic grade windows. It's got Kevlar coated wall panels. Inside is real leather, walnut grown here in the Ozarks. That's another unique thing. On our high end models,
Hmm.
we use one tree grown here in the Ozark for the entire project. So it's like one painter painting a canvas. We use one tree. We don't like diversify one tree for an entire
Wow.
project.
So you really do take your love of building, which obviously you did, working as a builder, and put it into these things to kind of marry the two. So you've got the metal of the undercoating or the undercasing of these things, along with a lot of primary products, wood and leather. That's
Yeah,
atypical.
yeah, yeah.
No, that sounds beautiful. You want to talk about prices? Is that
Yes. So our entry level van, it
mhm.
starts at $250,000, and our highest model that we currently offer comes in right around $1.5 million.
To put that in perspective, we've got friends that are into the RVing with the high end ones, the Prevos and all those,
Yeah.
the real expensive ones. We saw one this summer at the park that we have our tiny house in up north, went for $3.2 million. And it's now
Yeah.
granted it's 45 feet, but and doesn't have anywhere near the kind of interior you're talking about.
Yeah.
But the people that do that spend that kind of money.
Yeah, yeah, because they want a quality product and they don't care about the price. Um, Rarely do I get a client that asks me up front, "Hey, how much does it cost?" or "What am I looking out the door cost?" Usually, it's just a design meeting. They order what they want, and they're like, "Hey, send me the invoice," and no questions asked.
My guest today on Around the Ozark Spotlight is Pavel Bosovik, and Pavel has started this incredibly new company called 27North, which seems to build dreams, if that's fair to say, in on the chassis of a vehicle. Um, Even though you're here in the Ozarks, I've got to believe you're getting orders from around the world, or at least around the
Yes,
country.
yes, all over the country, all over the world.
What kind of a time frame, and can people? Do they go to your website and look for something there and say, I want that one? Or are people telling you, I want you to build me this?
So when we started, it was, "Hey, can you build me this?" I found this picture on Pinterest, on Instagram. Now
Mhm.
it's our floor plan, our models that we have in stock at dealerships across the country.
So, oh, you're already working with different dealers.
Yes.
Oh, so are you primarily retail, or are you more almost a manufacturer rep, if you will, of your product and then selling it in or putting it into consignment, I guess, with other dealers?
Yeah, great question. So now we are 99% dealer distribution model. And so we're a manufacturer, we supply other dealers, and our dealers work with the end user. But since we started as a consumer-based company, a lot of
Hmm.
people still come straight to us. And so we initiate the conversation. They get a meet and greet with me, and then we introduce them to our dealer, and our dealer takes over.
I always love guys to tell me stories. I'm sure you've had a couple. You want to share a story or two with someone who just was blown away when they got their vehicle?
Yes, I think my favorite was this 72-year-old lady who went into retirement a third time in Florida.
Uh-huh.
Um, Her contingency was if the owner himself delivers it to her, and I don't know if she was serious or joking about it, but when my team when my team processed the order, they put up my calendar and booked the trip for me. "Hey, you're delivering this unit to Florida. We'll get you
Sure.
a trip back. Like, it's all taken care of." I'm like, "Okay." I thought it was a prank, but it was the real deal. So my wife and I, we got in the van, we drove it to her in Florida, and she probably cried for the first 10 minutes. Like, she was just walking around, touching everything, hugging the chairs, touching the wheels, the cabinetry. And then to top it all off, we made a really, really personalized gift basket.
Uh-huh.
And it had stuff from that my marketing team found on her Facebook. Like, she was loving pets, she had some grandkids, and they tailored a gift basket to her. And she just gave me a big hug and cried on my shoulder and said how much she appreciates my team and myself giving her this opportunity to spend
Sure.
the last portion of her life traveling in something that she really likes.
Well, think about what kind of an ambassador or salesperson she has been for you
Oh,
with
yes.
probably a multitude
Yeah,
of people in Florida that
yes,
would love to do the same thing.
yes, yes.
Well, congratulations to you. I mean, turn the table around to yourself. What would you feel like if you bought something that cost that much, and the person that built it or owned the company came to you and said, "You know what? We really appreciate you."
Yeah, yeah, it's huge.
Pavel, good for you. I mean, that's not the kind of thing you hear people talk about, and that probably endears folks to the point where you're really going to have some success. Tell folks how to find one of these. Where do they need to go? How do they find your company?
Yes, just go 27 North on Google, and it'll pull up our YouTube if you want to see videos. It'll pull up our TikTok, Instagram if you want to see just lifestyle. And then, of course, our website where you can find our contact information, where you can schedule your own private factory tour. And then in the spring, when our off road course opens up, you can schedule an appointment there to actually come test our units on our own 27 North off road course.
In 30 seconds, you want to tell folks out there that are listening that maybe think they should do something like you're doing? how they should do it?
Just do it. Life is too short, and I've seen one too many retired folks come in and say, wow, we wish we had met you 10, 20, 30 years ago, to where you can consult us how we could have started this earlier. That's another thing I do, is actually consult and help people retire early and be able to enjoy this kind of lifestyle.
Pavel Bosovik, I want to thank you for being my guest today on Around the Ozarks Spotlight. Also, thank my producers, Taylor Worley and Jay Stevens, and all of you for joining us. If you happen to miss all or part of today's conversation, you can always find it at ATO Spotlight at aroundtheozarks.com or the ATO app, found in either the Apple App Store or Android apps, where you'll find today's program as well as all the other programs from the past couple of years. I'm your host, Scott Meier. Remember, every day is a gift. It's the best present you can ever receive. Have a great day.